चिता, सांसों में है धुआं, फिर भी आस मन में है जगी। भोर होगी क्या कभी यहाँ।
In briefly looking at Turkey, more recent research by B. G. Siddharth, writing in his A Lost Anatolian Civilization, Is It Vedic? Research Communication, 1992, relates that he was startled to see a sculpture of the head of a priest, excavated at Navali Quarry in Anatolia, present Turkey, by archaeologists headed by Professor Harald Hauptmann of Heidelberg. Siddharth had gone to the Navali Quarry site. Siddharth, in mentioning the head, said, "It is identical to the head of a Vedic priest, so common in India even today." The sculpture represents a clean-shaven head with the typical plait or shikha. According to radiocarbon analysis, this head dated to further back than 7000 BCE, thus making it clear that the Vedic Ions had been in this area from before that time. This ancient Turkish women dressing is undoubtedly resonating Vedic traditional clothing. Even if you notice the historical sites of Sumerians, Kassites, Druze, Syria and many more, it becomes quite clear that every culture, every civilization has originated from Sanatan Satya. Iran and Iraq, names of Iranian kings, all of them had Sanskrit names. Is Xerxes a Sanskrit name? An alabaster vase found at Halikarnassus gives 4 renderings of the name Xerxes, Persian, Kshairshah, and the Greek, Xerxes. The Sanskrit root, Kshi, means to rule, Kshatra, Zenkatra. So that is how Shairshah got turned into Xerxes. Here is a look at the name, Dariavos. In Avestan this name is said to mean, one who holds firm the good. In Sanskrit, Dhari, Dharya, means holding, and Bahu means abundance. Bahu, in Avestan is said to mean good. Given the closeness of Avestan and Sanskrit, his name probably was a distortion of the Sanskrit, Dharmarai, Dharma meaning righteousness or goodness, and Araya, Arya meaning abundant. The Sanskrit Dharaya Araya, Dharya Arya, definitely makes sense as holding abundance, but is an unlikely name. The original name of Bahastan was Bajastana, a distortion of the Sanskrit Bhagwansthana, Bhagwanstan meaning the place of God. Though Bajastan is known as the place where God dwells, the Bahastan inscription, located in Kamensha province, is nothing but a list of 23 principalities that King Darius, his actual name was Darius, of Persia ruled. What is interesting are the names of these 23 principalities and those of their rulers who had fought and lost in battle to King Darius. The similarities between the pre-Zoroastrian Persian religion and the Vedic religion are too many to give it any other name. In Iran, there is a ritual known as Yazna. In this ritual, the festive meal would take place where God would be invited, and Homer, a fire, and a sacred drink would be offered. All of this would carry out in the open air outside and would be performed by the clan known as Magi. After such performances and rituals, they believed that they would receive blessings from gods. The tradition is quite similar to the Vedic ritual Yajna or Yagya, and the Homer ritual that has a central fire that would be the vortex to the deity or the mouth of the deity. The drink is known as Somar and then consumed as Prasada. They are mostly performed by the Brahmins. Gordon Child in his book The Ions, a study of Indo-European origins, writes, "Finally we know that there existed among the Mitanni at this time a class of warriors styled Mariana which has suggested the comparison with the Sanskrit Maria, young men, heroes." He goes on to describe the dynasts in the Mesopotamia region, which he thought were Mitanni and Hittites. So it is clear enough that the dynasts installed on the upper Euphrates by 1400 BC were Ions, closely akin to those we meet in the Indus Valley and later in Media and Persia. But their subjects were non-Aryan Asiatics, and the rulers had adopted the native language in the Babylonian script for their official correspondence, and apparently acknowledged local gods besides their own. There are many other similarities between India and the Semitic world. The flood legends, cosmological stories, the earth tales are some of them. If you see the legends and stories related to mysteries of creation, life and death, childbirth and death to the theogony that entered Western Asia, then one can see that many reflects in the Islamic mythology and then changed, altered and adapted to suit the local mood. As we study Talmud and Midrash, some stories can be found to be directly adapted from Indian sources. For instance, the Puranas talk about the cosmographic conception of 7 firmaments and 7 underworlds, which is quite similar to that in Quran. It is also similar to the Hebrew concept of 7 heavens, Vilan, Rakia, Shekakim, Zebul, Mon, Makon, and Araboth, and the 7 underworlds, Aretz Hatachtinch, Adama, Arka, Ge, Nasia, Zija, and Tebel. In the early days, the Muslims were ready and open to learning from India and even introspect the knowledge provided by the Vedic philosophy. However, as Abbasids' power declined during the 9th century, the tradition of exchanging cultures between India and flourishing cities like Baghdad got cut off completely. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of more evidence of Vedic connection which will never come to an end. Like, the Gilgamesh inscription tablets speak about the truth. Even the name Gilgamesh is Sanskrit originated. The names like Ziasudra and Utnapishtim from the Noah's Ark are directly similar to Sanskrit names. And these are the most important figures of the Sumerian stories. Even the name of Sumerians is derived from Sanskrit, but no one wants to accept it because it will change the perspective of ancient history. And the very foundation of Judaism, Christianity, Islam is based on the Sumer. The original name of Sumeria was like Shemer, Sumer, Shinar in Bible. And even a kid can tell all of these names resonate with Sanskrit or even Hindi. Let's take another example. Ham is said to be the son of Noah. Nothing special about it, right? But let's think again. Cush is said to be the son of Ham, similar to Cush the son of Ram in Vedic history. But how can Lord Ram be the son of Noah, if the similar character of Noah in Vedic texts is Manu? The answer is simple. Because when the Kali Yuga began and people left their Vedic traits, their knowledge got slowly corrupted and derived to some new story. See, this is how far history can be complex. And I haven't even elaborated anything till now because of time limitations. Why? Why are we seeing Vedic roots for every culture, religion, or even extinct civilizations? Am I the one who has just made this discovery? No. All of this information exists for a long time period. But why does no one talk about it? Because the Abrahamic religion will cease to exist. And their followers will not let that happen because of their attachments, ancestry, community, which will be discussed in the final phase, phase 3A. Until then, we need to continue our journey in the decided pattern. Let's talk about the swastikas. The swastika is a symbol with deep historical roots, appearing across many ancient civilizations around the world. This geometric pattern, often symbolizing auspiciousness, luck, or well-being, was commonly used long before it became associated with the 20th century Nazi regime. Here are some key ancient civilizations and cultures where the swastika has been found. Indus Valley Civilization, 3300–1300 BCA. Ancient China, c. 1600 BCE onward, the swastika appears in early Chinese artifacts and became prominent in Buddhist symbolism. Ancient Greece, c. 800–300 BCA, known as the Madian or Tetrascalian. Ancient Rome, c. 753 BCE 476 CE, the swastika was used in Roman mosaics, jewelry, and various artworks. Celtic Europe, c. 700 BCE 400 CE, the Celts used swastika patterns in their art, jewelry, and pottery. It represented the sun, life cycles, or good fortune and appeared across Celtic lands in Europe. ancient Mesopotamia, c. 3500 BCE. Native American cultures, indigenous groups such as the Hopi, Navajo, and Mississippian cultures used the swastika in pottery, weaving, and sand paintings. It often symbolizes the four directions, cycles, or the sun. Neolithic Europe, c. 10,000–4,500 BCE, swastika-like symbols appear in early European rock carvings, pottery, and figurines. This usage is believed to be among the earliest known, predating even the written records of ancient civilizations. Mezine, c. 10,000 BCE, Mezine is an Upper Paleolithic site in Ukraine, where swastika patterns appear on a carved mammoth tusk bracelet. Hittite civilization, c. 1600–1178 BCE, in ancient Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, the Hittites used swastika-like symbols. Minoan civilization, c. 2700–1100 B. In Crete, the Minoans incorporated swastika motifs in pottery, frescoes, and jewelry. It is officially the end of the Middle East series. Before this, we have covered Europe too. So we have already proved the origin lands of the Abrahamic religion to be Vedic. Our next continent is Africa, even if many Asian countries like China, Japan, Korea are yet to cover. Egypt and its pyramid hold the biggest mysteries on this planet. But if we manage to find the Vedic connection of Egyptians and the pyramid too, the world will tremble. Let us find the Vedic connection of Egypt and its origin.
لا إله إلا الله